Hello guys, I'm flushing the air conditioning unit on the boat out with some muriatic acid and water. And I mean, who knew that barnacles grew inside your air conditioning system? Now I know. Anyway, I think I've restored the flow right there, which is pretty neat. But this is the type of thing that I've been doing here on the boat lately. It's a lot of maintenance, and I've been doing some other projects too, but nothing really that exciting. And this summer has passed by like this, and I've been doing all kinds of other cool things, like working with the bass boat, thank you Pelican, and working now on the giveaway kayak. That's pretty cool too. And I've been getting a lot of people asking me, what's up with the big boat? What's up with the big boat? And honestly, it's a very expensive thing to maintain, so I kind of put it on hold for a little while. But I have been working on little projects here and there, like getting it ready for maybe someday going out with a couple of dogs. And I'll share some of the projects that I've been doing over the past couple of months with you really fast. Unfortunately, in this boat update, there won't be anything about motors running or me sailing off and chasing the horizon. Soon though, I hope, please, soon. Okay, check out the projects I've been working on. One project was to figure out a bathroom for the dogs. If I was on the anchor, or on the hook as they say, for any length of time, the dogs were going to need a place to go, do their thing. Having a lawn on the front of the boat I thought might actually work out. And as I didn't want to grow real grass, I went to the store and I bought some fake stuff. There's the grass cut to shape and just kind of sitting there. I still have to come up with a way to really get this thing to stay put, and then also be removable, and put a washdown station up here, so if the dogs make a mess on it, I'll be able to clean it easily. And it's kind of perforated, so water will get through, and it should wash pretty easy. I got a strap on here for now, just in case it gets real windy, it doesn't blow away. And now at least the dogs have a place to run around a little bit. I think it looks pretty interesting. Now, the net. This net that I'm talking about is just like a safety net to make sure that the dogs don't fall overboard. They're pretty nimble, but you never know. I mean, they've fallen off the boat before, and if it happened at sea, that'd be really not a good thing. And in order to put this net on the boat, I had to add a couple of stanchions. I'm always drilling holes in my boat. I bought these pieces from a place called Defender, which sells all kinds of boat accessories. I actually spent quite a lot of money on some stainless steel just to make this happen. And this little access port allowed me to use nuts and bolts to attach all these stanchions. There on the existing ones that were up front, you can see I put a little eye that's made out of stainless steel, and through that I used some nylon cord that's meant to be like a clothesline. I sent it through there and sewed it tight with some, I think it's 65-pound braided line. All of that should be pretty UV resistant and weather resistant and all that good stuff. At least I hope. Time will tell. Here's the netting strewn out, just the length of the boat. I got that online pretty cheap too. I forget where I bought it. Boat netting or something is what I Google searched, and had it shipped from someplace here local in Florida. Installing the net was actually a tremendously tedious task. because you had to use like single lengths of rope like I'm doing here and thread them through the holes that I drilled and then through the netting. It was a very time-consuming task and not something that I think anybody can do, just for the level of patience you need, not so much for the skill, just the patience. And I consider myself a pretty patient guy, and it took me, like I said, several days of messing with this to actually get it to work. I think though, once it's all done and I'm out motoring around, and I'll know that the dogs are a lot safer, it'll all be worth it. Now up front I was going to need something a little bit different because of the anchors, so what you see me doing here is kind of just redoing what I had already done. I had to lift up the front stanchion a little bit, cut those off, and then add a piece, again, that I got from Defender, that piece right there. And that was going to enable me to put another stainless steel bar across the very bow of the boat, right up front. And you'll see in a second why I did that. You can see around the tops here, I wound an additional string, and that kind of holds the fence into place. There's some of that string that's just, I haven't cut off yet. But I kind of made a knot, crazy glued it. And that too is a little bit tedious, and I have to do the entire top just to eliminate some of this fraying right here. And I'll be able to tighten up any loose spots like that right there. And I'm going to do it all the way to here, and then wrap this entire pipe all the way down to eliminate the zip ties. And then you'll see this front section here is going to be separate. And these little eye hooks right here, I kind of opened them up so that I can take that off one at a time. This one still needs to be spread, obviously. But that'll come off, and that'll come off. This will come off. And I'll be able to open this up like a window, or door rather, for when it's time to throw the anchor out. And then once the anchor's out, I can put the rope underneath here and then close this back up, and then the dogs won't be able to get out or fall overboard or something, in theory. Of course, one other project that I did while I had all this stainless steel working was to add something on the back for me. Can't do everything for the dogs, you know. You see I added another stanchion, a little piece at the top, this piece in the center, and that allowed me to attach my hammock. It is a happy day when you have a hammock, I tell you what. Unlike a hammock on land, when you have a hammock on a boat, it actually moves a little bit by itself. This does not suck, I'll tell you what. Well, one other thing that I did to the boat recently to try to make it a little more dog friendly was I tried to consider what I would do if I was out all day kayaking, or if I had to go get groceries or do whatever, and the dogs had to stay here alone on the boat. In the past, I've had some bad results when you leave a dog alone. They could tear the curtains down, they can go through food, just get into trouble, you know. And a lot of people like to leave dogs in a crate. So I have a bunk here that I turned into a crate for the dogs. Well, I certainly did not want to just eliminate this bunk completely. If somebody really needed a place to stay, I thought I want to leave this as a bunk. So I'd like to have a convertible cage, and I didn't want to lose access to the storage down underneath here. So the solution I came up with was a folding cage. All I got to do is undo these snaps. There's 3 of them. And the cage will swing down like this. And now I've got a place to put the dogs if I'm going to be away for any period of time. And they won't get into trouble if they're locked up in prison. Now when the cage is in the down position, I figured a couple little straps on this 2x4, which I added by cutting away the foam and just screwing it to the base of this plywood here, would hold the cage this way. And if the dog's pushed on it, the cage wouldn't be able to open, at least down on the bottom. On the sides, however, there's a little bit of flexing right there. And I was afraid that the dogs might test that if they knew that that part was weak. So I carved up this 2x6 right here. This is a work in progress. And that is going to fit right there. It's going to be shortened a little bit. But the idea of this piece of wood is that the cage will rest up against it when it's in the down position, and they won't be able to push the cage out from over there. And of course I made one for both dogs. This one here is supposed to look like Jabby. Yes, that's you. With the big ears up here, up top. Jabberwocky with the jaws that bite and the claws that catch. Just like the Alice in Wonderland poem. But when it's done and the cage is in the down position, there'll be a couple dog totems there to look out for them when I'm not here. These are pieces of fabric that I had that I just folded over a couple times and sewed together, and I put some snaps on them. And you can see I screwed in the other part of the snap up there, and that holds the cage in the upright position. Hopefully under crazy seas, this will continue to hold the weight of the cage. Once the boat's up and running, we'll find out if that's going to work or not. Well, I've gone away a couple of times and have left the dogs alone on the boat and never had any issues. So I haven't needed this cage yet, but I think I will proceed with the little tikis and get them finished, all the carvings eventually, and install them, because it's a nice option to have. Because again, sometimes you know, you want to give dogs freedom, but they do need a little bit of discipline, and that's why I guess they're domesticated, not wild animals. Well, I have done a few other things to the boat, aside from just things that'll make the dogs' lives easier. But I think I might just relax in the hammock, take some time off, and save that for the next boat update. Thanks for watching, guys.